What's up, guys, and welcome back to another Horsepower and Headlights. I'm Bear Rutledge, and today we have a very special guest in-house. You might have seen him on Netflix and also hosting Top Gear US. Let's give a warm welcome to Mr. Rutledge Wood.
This is so exciting. I'm so good. Thanks for having me. What a treat.
Anytime, and especially with the Skyline. We are super excited to have this in-house and then to work on the headlights that we got to finesse with.
I mean, okay, number one, been a fan of yours for ages. The fact that I finally get to meet you here is so exciting. Number two, the fact that you gave your hair a little bit of color to match my car was so extra, and I just want you to know that that's not lost on me. So I appreciate that.
Nice.
But to know that my headlights have received all of this Morimoto love, it's hard to put into words how excited I am.
Well, that's exactly what we wanted from you as well. And like you said, it's so hard to come by when doing retrofitting. First off is if you have the skills to do it properly,
right.
Because once you pull one of these apart, there ain't no going back.
If anyone's ever poorly tried this and failed, the whole just chuck them in your oven thing seems great for a lot of people, but that also has worked out real poorly for others.
I heard that you tried doing some retrofitting on the past headlights that we had in this thing.
Bear, that's an unfair setup. I couldn't see it all, and I threw, I basically lived y'all's memes.
Right.
I threw some garbage HIDs in there because I needed to see, and it didn't help very much. And when my friend Zach, who works here, saw, he was like, hey man, you could have just called me. That's embarrassing for both of us. So I said, all right, great. I need your help. And here we are.
Here we are. And speaking about these retrofit headlights, we're actually going to bring our lead tech that designed these and that worked our way through the whole process on these. So let's go ahead and introduce Mr. Austin, and he'll give you all the insights on these. How's it going,
guys?
Austin?
Good. How you doing, man? Glad to have you in. Yeah, so kind of just to piggyback a little bit on what we were talking about, Rut, biggest thing here, super expensive. You know, we were talking $3,000 to $4,000. So what we wanted to do is keep the OEM plus look, but we also got to save the headlights. So like you said, a little bit daunting. We threw them in the oven. Retrofitting is we got to heat them up, we got to split them, and that's the biggest thing we start off with. And a little bit daunting, not gonna lie. And we had a little bit rocky start there too.
Had to work around what I butchered because I busted up the back caps with the.
There's a little bit of dremeling, if that's what we want to call it there. But hey, we removed the back ends of them. What we did is to kind of start to finish. Once we opened them up, we did a xenon, which is an HID based projector in there. That's a Morimoto Mini H1 8.0, so that's our 8th generation. And we ran on a 35 watt Morimoto ballast and some 6000K HID bulbs. Nice. And what that means is just a nice pure JDM white color. The Kelvin rating is just the temperature color there. And we kind of dressed it around to give an OEM HID look with a mini Gatling gun shroud. Obviously, these weren't the HID versions that you had. Sure. They were the fluted reflector bezels. So we removed that out and then just kind of try to give it like the higher trim look, you know, without trying to mess too much of it up.
Some people still love the, what do we call them, angel eyes?
Yeah.
That's not my jam, but I love that Jeep bros love them now. Right. But whoever likes them, that's what's so cool is that you can really mix and match. But tell me what you did with the yellow on the high beam.
A little bit of flair that we added. We actually had our friends over at Laminex. They're local in the area, and so we had them send some yellow. I wanted to tie in the turn signals in the bottom. I was like, that is the quintessential vibe of the 90s. You know, whether we're talking Toyota or Nissan, yellow just brought it together for me. So what we did is I actually removed the actual glass lens behind and then adhesed it to the glass, and we put it back in. Behind this is a Morimoto 2-stroke bulb, white coming through, so you actually get some functionality there. But when it's off, it kind of gives that JDM look. So I think it looks good. It's actually gonna help too, driving in some inclement weather. The yellow does a little better than the white. So it's function and form. You know, we get a little bit of everything in there.
So you took the whole lights apart.
Correct.
Did the Laminex on the high beam there. How do we make sure that all of that works together? Walk me through how you approach something like that.
Exactly. So you also mentioned we are right-hand drive car, so we actually converted it to a left-hand drive traffic projector as well. So you talked about you're going to have slopes that are lower on the passenger, so we're not blinding people. It's DOT compliant with the cutoff. And it's even, sharp, clean cutoff line like you mentioned earlier. And so you're not getting a hazy cutoff either way. It's going to be DOT compliant, and you're not flashing anyone like some lifted truck bros. It's going to be nice and smooth all the way across.
So I want to point out, that means if I had wasted $4,000 on a set of the OEM setup from Japan, I still wouldn't see as well as I will with these.
Correct, because they're right-hand drive. We're in America, so it would actually not be the correct one. So we adjusted accordingly. Let me cut them on for you, show you what the cutoff line looks like, and we'll kind of get rock and rolling for sure, man.
Oh, I don't know where to stand.
Like you said, these are gonna have a little bit of a warm-up time. Typically HID ballasts, whether OEM or aftermarket like what we provide, are gonna have, you know, 10, 20-second kind of warm-up time, but all said and done, you're gonna get that nice white, crisp cutoff line with a little bit of flicker to it too. So I think you get a little steez points and you get some functionality points at the same time.
Let me tell you why I'm also excited, Austin, because if you follow Morimoto, you always see these super clean cutoff pictures, and now I'm a part of it. This feels so much better, man.
So it's a flash to pass feature as well. So it ties in, you have 2 high beams per headlight. Your bi-xenon HID projector also opens a shutter, so you get white high and yellow high at the same time. So you still retain the flash to pass without blinding everyone.
So basically, I've just become an IMSA driver overnight. I'm that official. Thanks for taking care of my baby. This is so exciting.
Absolutely, man.
And they match your shoes, which a lot of people don't have the style to do.
Awesome. Well, obviously, it's a super cool car. I'm gonna let Bear jump back into it so she can carry on. Thanks for having me, man.
Sure,
yeah, absolutely.
That.
Well, thanks, Austin, for all that. Dude, they look amazing, and I cannot wait to see that actually on the road and for you to actually put them to test. But enough about the headlights. I'm a huge JDM fan, and this is like one of my dream builds to have. So to have this in studio in the Midnight Purple, beautiful, beautiful color.
My friends found this for me out there at Top Rank in Long Beach. I told them I wanted a Midnight Purple. R33 was always my favorite. Let's be honest, I'm not like Tom Cruise, so I can't afford an R34. So it's easier to love the R33 when you when you take that off the list. But I told them what I wanted. I want a low mileage clean one, and they found it 2 months later. So I've had the car about a year and a half.
Okay.
I'm a Toyota guy, so this is the only thing that I have that's really like off-brand.
Right.
That RB26 is so nice. Magnaflow made a custom catback for me using one of the titanium canisters.
Nice.
And just in case you hadn't heard it before, let me just... Which is great. It's not loud.
Yes, but it's just got that nice RB rumble that you
want. A little tone.
Not too droney inside.
Right.
What kind of coils you?
I did Fortunato coilovers. My buddy Nick Swan made that happen.
Nice.
And then the wheels that are on there are the wheels that came on the car when I bought it, but they were 17s. It was a Japan-only wheel, an Apex or Apexy, depending on how you're... It's a 3-piece. And I sent them to 3-piece US, who then stepped them up to an 18.
Okay.
Changed barrels, and that's why the inside barrel is purple to match.
I did see that.
The car sticks out so much. It's just fun when you're at a light next to someone and they still don't understand.
They're like, where's the driver?
Right.
Oh shoot, he's in the other seat.
I always tell people, if you're in the passenger seat, just panic at a light.
Right.
Look around, but it is one of those cars that's rare enough, especially in this color, that it gets a lot of eyeballs. I have a lot of weird cars, if we're
I know, I've seen that.
honest. Hey, Forsberg!
Is this serious?
Just kick those stairs
I
down.
just get the stairs
Welcome
if
to
you
the
don't
short
mind.
bus.
All right, thank you.
How do you, going from that, how do you choose what you're going to get next? Because I know you go from like Toyotas to a Tacoma to some kind of van to a mini car. I'm like, okay, how does this man choose what he's getting next?
It's
Is it
a
more so
lot.
the deal? Or
Yes.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll tell you. I'm a sucker for a Craigslist deal.
I'm half Asian, so I completely understand.
Marketplace is
100%.
If I only had Facebook Marketplace and didn't have Facebook for anything else, I'd be fine.
Right?
I don't know about you. I always have that dream of like, how can I take a piece of coal and turn it into a diamond?
100%. Trash to treasure.
Yes, but here's the thing. Makes zero financial sense.
No, nothing at all. It's
I
just
should
what
stop.
makes us happy.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like a thrift store. You go in there, you don't know what you're gonna get, but you know you're gonna get a deal at the end of the day.
Every time. So there's that love of, I love the pursuit. I love to get cars, clean them up, have a little fun with them, and then usually I sell them to a friend and let somebody else do it. What's got me is that my friends will take the good deal that I pass on to them, and then they
make it a better deal.
Yes, every time, Bear. I gotta quit doing that. But to me, I think if you can save a car, especially from a junkyard, like I've bought several cars that were delivered to my trailer on a forklift. That's a weird vibe. If you've never done that before, it kind of feels like, I might have just wasted my money. That's how they move trash. But the 81 Corolla I bought out of a junkyard had 17 empty cat food cans in it.
17.
Yeah, and almost as many Puerto Rican flag stickers on the car as it did cat food cans. I sold that car, bought it back a year and a half later. It had had like a custom short shift done.
Nice.
They changed the headlights from the squares to the two circles. Like, there's a lot of stuff like that that just, I don't know why I like cars the way I do. I don't think you'll ever see me in, I'm not knocking anybody that owns a Lamborghini or Ferrari or anything else. Those are cool. But more people look at my tiny JDM K-Van than anything else I own.
100%. It's a sick build. If you don't know what we're talking about as well, I know you just came out with your whole YouTube series that you got going on too. Make sure to go check out that. He does some really cool builds. And I like how you do the short videos. It's just there, it's to the point, and you're done.
Well, it's a lot like this. If I'm honest, I love my jobs, and I have a bunch of them, but I work so much that it's hard to find time. Like, I could have spent 7 months to not do as good of a job as Austin did in probably 2 days, but it's hard when you look at that. So most of the time when I'm doing stuff, it's with my friends. I try to support as many of them as I can, but like Koru Works and Kenwood Rod Shop do most of my either import builds, like my drift truck or my Supra, or the K5 Blazer I'm building right now. But yeah, I don't try to pretend to anyone like, hey, I did all this work this week. I didn't. I can do some of
Rutledge
it.
isn't a poser. That's what you're saying.
I get the whole like built not bought, but also it's cool if you can work and pay for something and then you show up and it runs. I'm great with that too.
100%.
I'm good at blowing stuff up.
Well, you have done a fantastic job on this car. The inside of this thing is immaculate. You know, what year model is this one?
This is a 95.
95. And I know, did you do any other components under the hood? Could we pop it?
We can.
And let them see?
It's so stock.
Other side, other side, other side.
Did you see that?
Bro, did you see
that?
I hope y'all totally got
Did you
that.
see that?
So that RB26 lifestyle, I know you're a Yoda dude, so that Jay-Z is more so at your back door.
Yes, 2J all day.
What do you think of this?
You may notice it's completely stock.
And
that's not an accident.
Sometimes you ain't gotta touch things when it's right. I know RBs are very particular motors.
To me, the car is plenty quick enough.
Yes.
I'm not trying to be the dude that was able to save and afford one and then it broke and it doesn't move.
100%.
The transmissions are like glass, so you can't, you know, it's like a Subaru except these run. Sorry, Caleb, sorry. That's my bad on that. But yeah, so I didn't want to mess with it too much.
You know what you're putting down right now?
No clue.
No clue. It's
not
okay. Maybe 3-ish.
Three feels good.
We'll just say 3-ish. I like that number.
The exhaust feels real strong.
Hey.
Can I point something out? Now that I can see Austin's handiwork.
Yeah, did you see?
It's all like OEM clean. I had butchered these up with those terrible HIDs. All right, now here's what I leave with. How do I go home and look at my other cars and not want to do the same stuff?
We also just came out with RetroBrights. I know you're big into the old stuff.
Tell me about them.
I will tell you about those RetroBrights. So we just did a collab with Holley, and we actually came out with OEM style housings, but with LED technology.
Wait, how do are you gonna have two different offerings? Maybe one for a newer color and maybe one for an older one?
Yep, we have also white and also in the yellow version. Do you all want to know a little bit more about that? Just head over to Morimoto and check that stuff out.
You need to, because I'm running those on my 72 K5 project.
See, you already know what's up.
I did. I'm a big fan. Big fan. Love your work. Love your products.
Thanks. And we love you too as well, Rutledge. Thank you so much for coming in. We cannot wait to see this car out on the streets.
Big thanks to Morimoto, all my friends that are here. This is incredible. I can't wait to drive it. I can't wait to drive it at night and not blind all of you.